Not the way Jones
Is
is
it
playing.
copyright music?
Oh.
Yeah. Damn. He said you suck.
You ain't gonna hit him?
Oh, man.
I haven't seen your guitar in a coon's age, Danny, so I don't want to hear it.
I know.
What the hell? Did you say a coon's age? I've never heard that expression.
That is a very southern, very old. Yeah.
I
It's
figured
legit.
it would be
checks.
appropriate to talk about a Western.
Oh, you are so smooth. You are smooth.
Like butter.
That was
like
You're
butter.
as smooth as your head, or is he wearing a hat because it's not smooth today?
I don't
You
like
got
that.
stuff.
No,
Jonesy's
I just
already
like this hat.
Jonesy, you're already
I like
the
this
best
hat.
looking one of the group of us. You don't need to do those smooth transitions on top of that. It's not fair.
The best transitions are the ones you have to announce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, check out this transition we just made. Super smooth. You ready, Kyle?
But
We're
we gotta do
recording.
it when it
We're ready.
matters.
Yeah, we're recording. I'm not making Uh-oh, there's
Oh,
an
there's the echo.
back.
It's back.
Jonesy, what did you do?
No,
I,
Not
I think
I think we're
smooth
talking
now,
about
I-
Marvel stuff too, so that's where the echo came from.
Ooh, funny. Real funny.
I'm hearing it.
Is this working?
I
Mic
can
check.
hear it.
Yeah, I can hear it too.
There it is. I can hear myself. Wait, it's gone now.
Is it me?
Fix
Somehow
it.
Jonesy now say something at the same time as
Now
I
I'll
am.
say something at the same
Something,
time as you.
Yada yada. Yada.
Something yada yada.
Nope.
It's gone.
Oh,
No,
there it is. There it is.
It's you. It's
there it
you.
is.
How is it him? He has headphones on.
Well, it
I
could be on
stopped.
someone
I
else's
stopped
end.
talking. I guess I got headphones on too. I don't.
We all have
Hmm.
headphones. That's well, except for
I think it's
Danny.
Danny.
But Danny doesn't. Danny
Yeah,
doesn't have a
I think
problem.
it's Danny.
Oh, he has a headphone.
What are you blaming me
Danny's
for?
not
I'm
wearing
not saying
headphones.
anything.
No,
Yeah, I know,
so I
yes.
think what's happening is the sound is coming out of your speakers and coming back in.
Oh,
Here,
right, hold on.
try
let me do
this.
that. Now you blame me, right? What you blame
I
me
mean,
for?
I guess we're just troubleshooting. You're the only one without headphones on, so you were the easy
Mhm.
target.
So do you want me to talk at the same time as Carl? Or the same
Test
time
one,
as
two.
Jonesy? or
So
the same
I think if all of us are talking at the same time, let's see. And Kyle, you start saying something. Let's see if there's an echo that comes in.
Chicken
Yeah,
papa.
yada,
I
yada.
don't think I hear it.
Lady Eagle.
I don't hear
No.
it anymore.
No, I hear it's
Pot
gone.
pie. Okay.
It's like a
So
random
Danny, what did you do?
artifact. It might.
I turned it off and on again, obviously. Obviously,
That's
Jonesy, how
great.
dare you ask?
It came right back just that quick.
Came right back. You guys ready?
Let's do
I'm
this.
ready.
So,
Ready to do it?
Born ready.
Have some fun.
I was born ready, motherfucker. Hello and welcome to Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, the premier flagship and international podcast of LRM Online. I'm excited. I'm back with the Ladtastic 4.
Sorry.
thanks, Jammer.
I have I have.
At which
I had
point,
coffee.
Jam
That was a
immediately
cough.
steps on the intro.
That was because of coughing. I'm sorry. I should mute myself. I'm muting.
For those of
Good
you
to
not
have everybody
watching,
back. Coughs and sneezes and
for
snot.
those of
Welcome.
you not watching, I think Jammer almost died in front of us. The water just went down the wrong hole. Cough? I don't know.
No, it was a
Um,
cough. It was just a straight.
It was
I
a
have a
cough.
cold, so it
Just
was
a straight
cough.
coughed.
We were coughing
I
while
see.
drinking. I've never experienced that.
Oh, I've done that. You haven't lived. What's wrong with you?
Kids.
Gotta try it at least once.
Gotta try it at least once. See if that's the thing that kills you. What's going on with your background, Jammer? That looks. Are you in a different room? Where are you?
So actually, I was gonna ask this up front. Does it look like I'm in a nursery? Is that that's the question?
Not a nursery, but it does
So-
look. So you've got like little sound
swear-
They're
blockers.
having a baby.
No, God, shut up. So we switched around my office to accommodate. We did like a redesign of our house, reset up, whatever. And so we decided to switch this side. I forgot the reasoning for it. There was a good reason though, and I really support it, and I'm behind that reason. I don't remember the reason. So we switched sides of the office. I think it's so I could have more space. And this side has these weird designs back here that I don't like, but whatever. I'll paint over them eventually. Additionally, you weren't able to see this before, but all of like the failed soundproofing from last year or the year before that I haven't fixed yet are just visible now and ugly and gross. I need to go at some point and re-glue them on, because
Positions.
before
Okay.
I had them on what's it called?
Velcro.
cardboard stuck to the back of the Velcro thing, or not the Velcro, cardboard stuck onto the back of the little sound pad, and then I put one on the wall, and then I glued them together. It didn't quite work, but maybe next time. Because now I have a room that has better windows, and no, this is going too fucking deep. It's better windows, and now my room isn't going to be super hot.
Fuck.
What the fuck,
Sorry.
Nick?
You
Don't have
motherfuckers
to
are
do that.
coughing and dying and shit. Just
That's
wear
a
a mask.
sneeze.
Something. What's
I'll
going
mute
on?
for the rest of it because now I'm gonna have a sneezing fit. You can't have just one.
I feel like this is appropriate to talk about.
I feel like we
the
lost
Last
half
of
of
Us.
our listeners in the middle of that story. though, so
Yeah,
we should probably get
just-
straight to the news.
Let's get straight
Well,
to the
we've
news.
lost half.
Actually,
We've lost half.
and
the team,
here's-
so we might as well lose half.
here's what I want to do, and you guys let me know. So we have a film that we're supposed to be reviewing in the course of this podcast. We've got a bunch of news, and we also have a film. The film is Dead for a Dollar, starring Christoph Waltz and Willem Dafoe. This movie is trash. It's not good by any stretch of the imagination.
Thank God, I
And-
wasn't the only one. I put that in the chat that I was like,
And no
it's
one said
painful.
anything.
No, it's painful. And then you gave an eye rolling emoji to it, and I was just like, does he think I'm a snob because I think the movie is trash?
Oh no, it was an
And-
eye rolling emoji because you said to Nick, "Lucky you," that he hadn't watched it, and it's like we're on a show where we watch things, so that was the eye roll. It was the first part
Got it.
before the period.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
gonna lie. When we first watched the trailer for Dead for a Dollar, and we decided not
Looked
to
fun.
cover it.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
remember.
disagree. I thought it looked terrible. I was like,
It
this
was
is
on our
really
list
bad.
when I was hosting, and we're at the last minute. We're like, let's not cover this trailer. It looks bad.
It looks bad. Like it looks so
Yeah.
bad. And anyways, go ahead. You can continue.
I couldn't tell if it was on purpose or not. I thought it was deliberately, not cheesy, not the campy. I thought it was deliberate camp. What it put my mind to was The Quick and the Dead. That's what I was thinking of. And I was like, oh, okay, this is in the same vein as that. So what I was going to propose was we either talk about it now and talk about it for like 10 to 15 minutes max. Like this is going to be like a weird hybrid Artemis protocol type thing where we just
Yeah.
like jump into it and then move into more interesting things because we've got a long show, a lot of news topics to cover. Do you guys think?
Yeah.
I think
I'm down
guys
to
are already
talk about
halfway
it for a
through
bit.
it. So
No, I mean, down to talk about it for a few minutes because I think there are very specific reasons why I didn't like it. A, it has that god awful supernatural filter. Oh wait, Nick, that's on you. We hear it. We hear it on you, Nick.
how do you
Test
know
one
it's me?
too, because you have a green bar around your thing, meaning that the audio was coming from you. But whatever. It has that god awful supernatural
The Breaking
filter.
Bad.
The Breaking Bad, so we know that we're in Mexico or in the Middle East, or an African country filter. It has that filter, and it's so painful. I'm like, just use the clean, just use the colors that you got. It looks so bad. So I didn't like that. B, it felt like the story itself and the characters just felt like a series of cliches.
Yes.
And it was like a bunch of cliches without really any substance to them. It just felt
But-
like if you had like a bunch of tent poles, it's like you have the saggy canvas in between them because there's nothing else in between those tent poles, those archetypes, those stereotypes that we already know. And there's like, it had nothing new to add to the conversation, nothing interesting to do,
Yeah.
nothing different about the characters. And almost like it relied so heavily on the tropes that it didn't even bother to sort of fill out its own world in an interesting way. So
And that was
just
going to be
kinda
my
like,
pushback
wow.
on that because it's a Western, right? And when you talk about these people are tropes, they're archetypes. Like, yeah, in a Western, like I would expect that. But yeah, to your point, they're just filled with nothingness.
Yeah, it's hollow.
Like to the point of like one of the characters' names, I think her name was Rachel. Well, here, let me set this movie up properly so we can dispense with it properly. This film has a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has only just come out, I think today. So today is the 30th, the day that we're recording. So there is no audience score for this film. The description of this film is when it appears a young woman has run off with an army deserter, a hired gun, Max is contracted to go after them and bring her home. Finding out that she has fled from an abusive husband, Max is forced with the choice to finish the job or look the other way while ruthless assassins and his longtime rival Joe close in. This film is directed by Walter P. Hill, and it stars, as already said, Willem Dafoe and Christoph Waltz. It also has Benjamin Bratt in it. Yeah, that's the film. And is there anything else you want to say about it, Jammer?
It just it was shot. I don't like the way it was shot either. In addition to the supernatural filter that they covered it with, it was just not visually interesting. I think the first shot was one of the early shots where you kind of close in on an exterior and a guy walks into the glass door and you just hear sounds and it slowly pushes in, which I feel like this filmmaker was trying to be Tarantino with it, but it just felt so cheap. Everything just felt like a cheap imitation without adding anything new. And I think that just extends to almost virtually any aspect of the movie. Yeah, it was just not good. It was not good. I'm willing to talk more about it if you have anything else to add, but that's kind of like my 2 cents right off the bat.
I mean, I can add a couple things. I am shocked at how bad the movie is given the pedigree of people that are in it. So you have Willem Dafoe, who hasn't won an Oscar, but is a fantastic actor by all rights. You have Christoph Waltz, who has won an Oscar for being in a Western. So it is very strange to me that you've gathered these folks. And even Walter Hill is a storied director. He's well known. I don't even know how to describe him. He's a person who people know as a decent director. There you go. He's a seasoned director, and he's someone who's even directed episodes of Deadwood. So again, you have the feeling that everyone involved should know the assignment. And in watching this film, I felt like I was watching a graduate student's bad art film. And like the plot doesn't make any sense. The people that they make these characters out to be do things that are contradictory, or like I can't remember Rachel's character's name, but the leading lady for the film, Rachel Brosnahan, every time she spoke like to Christoph Waltz, it was this weird soliloquy that just had just exposition for no reason. And it wasn't said to be funny or anything like that. It was meant to be taken seriously. But after she spoke, you're just like, why did you feel the need to say all of those things?
It felt like it was leaning into sort of the Western trope of how they speak and how they just overexplain things.
Yes. But this movie, I think another way for me to describe it was it felt like a play. It felt like something that had been adapted from a stage play, and it just didn't do the work to make it into a real film. I also hate this story between the Buffalo Soldiers, because I was like, there's no explanation for why this one soldier hates the other one enough to do this to him.
And then also is happy the second that he says, I'll help you help him escape. I'm like, when did that turn happen? I thought you were just saying 10 minutes ago that he deserved to be. Yeah.
That felt to
Speaking
me
of
like
which,
they changed their mind about whether he was going to be the bad guy or the good guy in that situation. Like halfway through filming the script, they said, well, actually, maybe we should make out that they actually like each other. And it was all part of their cunning plan to help each other out. That felt really forced, that bit when he flipped like that.
Yeah.
And then it's all for naught. Sorry, go ahead.
The one weird comparison I have, you mentioned like, why does this look like a student film? I mean, it looks better than a student film. Let's be real. It looks better, but it doesn't look like a movie. It doesn't look like a movie. It looks like something that was just shot. And I got this weird feeling that I got when watching Jay and Silent Bob Reboot a few years back, where I was just like, he's made real movies before. Like he's made, or even if they're not great, he's made movies that look like movies. This looks like it was made with somebody's fucking iPhone without any knowledge of how to make a movie. What happened? And I got the same feeling with this one, where it's just like, they've made movies before. Why does this look so bad? I just didn't understand it. It just felt like a poor production.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the reasons why I was disappointed by it, because Walter Hill has made some films that he's one of those directors, I think, that a lot of people don't remember the films he's made. He made Southern Comfort and The Warriors. He also made a film with Bruce Willis, The Last Man Standing. He's made and been a producer on some pretty well-known films. You go, oh, I didn't know he directed that. And his directions, the violence is always a little bit more hyper stylized and stuff. And I was expecting something like that from this. The trailer, like Jonesy said, made it look like, oh, well, maybe we're going to have some sort of, different take on the Western. And what we got was a very boring and average take on the Western theme with exactly the same tropes from all the characters. And even the bits that felt like, oh, maybe this one's going to be different, like a strong woman protagonist. Well, that wasn't fleshed out enough. And then you had the Benjamin Bratt played a very boring, local Mexican mafia boss that had nothing about him whatsoever. And I'm sure we don't mind going into spoilers. It was like you said, Jonesy, all for naught in the end. Christopher Waltz, I thought he played the same character he played in Django Unchained. It could have been exactly the same guy. I was just, this is what he did before he met Django. It was very dull, very disappointing. And like you guys have said, it was very basic tropes, but nothing new on it. The trailer made me think there was going to be something new, which is why I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't
understand why.
It's making me like Christoph Waltz less, because as you mentioned, he kind of is the same person. And I'm like, is he just playing somebody who we really liked and thought it was good acting, but really it's just he's good at delivering lines as a specific type of person?
Here's a question that I was thinking about while you guys were talking. Have you seen a good Christoph Waltz movie that wasn't directed by Tarantino? Because I can't think of one.
It's a good question.
Downsizing was an interesting movie.
I forgot.
Downsizing was weird. You're right.
It's not necessarily bad. I liked it, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. And he was a very different type of character in that.
I mean, but he was also in Alita Battle Angel, who he basically played the same character too. I
was just going to say, does anyone? I liked Alita. Am I the only one that liked Alita? But again,
I liked Alita.
Jammed perfectly. It was the same guy. I liked Alita.
It was still him.
Just as I was going to say, I like that one. I was like, he's the same guy.
I hate Spectre. I absolutely fucking hate Spectre.
Movies
he was also, but that wasn't his fault. That wasn't his fault.
That's what I'm saying.
No. But he's just asking the question. Yeah.
Has he chosen a good movie aside from as Tarantino roles? Like he's in like Horrible Bosses, like Water for Elephants. It's like all these movies people are like, eh.
Yeah, I'm looking at this.
I don't know.
The list here.
Can't think of one.
He was in the French Dispatch, which I didn't see. I want to see. But I mean, that's a Wes Anderson movie. It's because I see those, when I feel like it, and I haven't felt like it yet. I'm sure it's great.
I think I did like that movie.
It came out last year. How was it?
Oh wait, you know what? I haven't watched that. You know what I was thinking of?
Grand Budapest.
What's the hotel? Yeah,
Grand Budapest.
The hotel.
Because those movies
look
identical.
They all do look identical. And the weird thing is, I think I have that movie. It was sent to me as a screener, and I had never watched it.
Screeners are hard to watch, man. I don't like screeners because they're always shitty quality. I remember trying to watch the fucking Mulan movie on screener, and it was so low quality. I'm like, really? This is what you're sending me?
And Disney? So here's the thing. They sent me actually a really nice box with the film in it. And so it's a really nice DVD box, and there's a booklet that goes with it. And I never got around to it. I was in school. Yeah. I was in school. I just never got around to it.
I mean,
you know what?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said there
nice.
hasn't been a screener or two that I haven't just missed. Like Better Call Saul season 5. Yeah, I didn't review that one like I should have. But that was I signed up for it before I left LRM, and then I got it like a month and a half after I was out of LRM. So I'm just like, that doesn't count.
I don't think that counts. Here, I'm gonna look at my notes just to see is there anything else I actually wanted to say before we move on. I can't think of anything else I want to say about this film. Again, I'm kind of outdone by the bad quality of this movie, given the pedigree of the folks that are in it. It almost has the quality of like they were writing the script as they went, because some of the motivations of the characters just don't match up. It doesn't look particularly good. The action is bad. So we get to a climax in this film, and it just, we've seen Westerns within the last year that are much better in terms of how they handle action. So I'm confused.
There was also something that confused me.
This director knows action. This director's got experience with action. I mean, everything from Red Heat with Schwarzenegger to, didn't he do 48 Hours as well? So you would think he knows how to direct action, frame it, and make it exciting. But
in all fairness, I don't think he directed all of those. I think he acted as producer on some level for a good majority of those, but still. I think what this highlights is it's really fucking hard to make a good movie. Like, we're realizing even these directors who have been in the business for a while and made movies, sometimes it's hard for them to make something that's passable as even a movie, let alone good. So it's just difficult. It's hard.
It is difficult. And, despite that fact, this is not one that I can recommend. So if you saw this trailer, like my friends did and myself, and were like, hey, I want to see that because I like who's in it, do not. And if you do, we told you not to. So
it's your fault. You have no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah. And if you did watch it and you'd like it, please let us know in the chat on the Discord channel.
Yeah, I would love to know what, if anything, there was redeeming about this film. Because I think Willem Dafoe always goes 100. I don't think he knows another speed. So he's always enjoyable to watch. But other than that,
I mean,
nope. Well, I would recommend Speed 2.
It wasn't particularly great here.
Yeah, he was in Speed 2. Didn't like him in that.
Oh yeah, was he in Speed 2? Cruise Control?
He was. Cruise Control. That's right.
I always remember Speed 2 because I think it was one of my first R-rated movies that I saw, and I had a very vivid memory of one of the ladies falling off of the side and getting ground up by the propellers of the boat. That was very vivid memory.
Yeah,
I remember it being speed on something that's not going very fast. Slow moving cruise liner. It should have been called Fairly Slow. I mean, they had some motorcycle chases at the beginning that were badly edited, but the speed of a giant boat,
that's such a weird movie, right? Because it feels like a week before production, they were like, Keanu's out. What do we do? And then they just switched him out for some dude and didn't change anything, right? They didn't change who his boss was. They had the same black dude driving the same car from the first movie in this one. He had the same girlfriend. It was like everything was literally the same except for the lead actor.
The same girlfriend was always a bit. So well, she switched out Keanu for Jason Patrick, right?
Something like that.
But they literally had the same job.
Crazy guys. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Same
Makes
job.
You wonder what the backstory is there, though, right? Did they meet at some work?
Is Jammer frozen? I think Jammer's frozen.
He's got that stupid fucking Tucker Carlson look on his face. Let's take a picture of that.
Oh my god! What the hell just happened?
That was him catching up in time.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh no! I mean, it's good. I still got the Tucker Carlson look, so good on you. Anyway, yeah. Are we done with Speed 2 and Dead for
our
Dollar?
Impromptu retrospective on Speed 2 Cruise Control?
Jammer's first R-rated film.
It was my first. It was one of my first. My first R-rated film was Under Siege 2: Dark Territory.
Ooh. Do you like your sequels? Or you haven't seen the first one?
You pick some, yeah.
Okay, you have to understand.
You're like The Rock. You're just jumping into every sequel.
I was like, I think 6 or something or 7. I didn't pick it. It was on. Or like my parents were like, hey, you want to watch this movie? And I was like, it's R-rated. Yeah, I want to watch the movie. That's what happened.
What was my first R-rated? I think mine was probably something like Hellraiser or Nightmare on Elm Street.
I think mine was Exorcist.
Oh, really? It's a good one.
Yeah.
Which was it?
Did you get bored? Were you bored in that movie as a kid?
Yeah, as a kid I was. Good use to say that. Yeah, lots of exposition, boring shit in that.
It's like
I went to see that when they re-released it. I was like, I don't get it. Here, I'm just gonna keep taking screenshots of Jammer's frozen face. When I saw it, I was like, I don't get it.
That's not his frozen face. That's his coming face.
Is he really stuck like that? That is great.
Yeah, he is stuck like that.
I was gonna say I got Hamburger Hill is the first rated R movie I can think of. My dad showing me at way too young of an age. If you've ever seen the war movie Hamburger Hill It's pretty brutal.
It is.
Yeah.
So. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Torturing kids, messing up kids since the 80s.
Well, we all turned out fine, right? We're all
perfectly good,
normal, functioning adults in society.
Especially Jim.
I think so.
And now he dropped off.
That's unfortunate. That means he won't be here to hear us talk about Enola Holmes. You guys ready to talk it?
Yeah.
So,
Holmes me up.
Holmes you up. All right. So, Enola Holmes takes on her first case as a detective, but to unravel the mystery of a missing girl, she'll need some help from friends and her brother, Sherlock. I generally hate trailers, especially for horror movies and mysteries, because I always feel like they give away a bunch. That said, I did enjoy this trailer because I enjoyed the first movie, and I feel like Millie Bobby Brown I like her when she's not 11. Like 11's fine, but she's always flat. And
she's not
I think she has
theorist in Godzilla.
No, I don't mind it because I think she has charisma. Even if she's a conspiracy theorist or Sherlock Holmes' brother, she's like effervescent. She's bubbly, and so she's fun to watch. And so between that and the fact that I never get tired of seeing Henry Cavill on screen, I'm looking forward to this. This drops relatively soon. It's coming 4 November on Netflix. So I got the impression watching this trailer that if you like the first one, you'd probably be into this. But what do you guys think?
It's like more fun. I watched it days and days ago, so I don't remember specifics except for being like, hey, this looks fun like the last one. Like, why wouldn't I watch this? Like, yeah, it's a cool character. And I always like being in the Sherlock world, even if it's not, like the first one taught me. It's like, hey, it doesn't have to be about him to be a fun movie. And then I'm probably going to spend the entire movie like last time being like, is that Moriarty's kid? Is that Moriarty's kid? Is that Moriarty's kid? You got to get to Moriarty eventually. So it's got to be like Moriarty Jr. to deal with a younger
James
Holmes.
Bond Jr.
But yeah, I don't know. It looks fun. I don't see a reason not to watch it since I enjoyed the first one so much and it's on Netflix.
I'm down with it. I remember the first one being, it was long and I enjoyed the first one, but I feel like this time we've established the characters, we've established this, that, and the other. So now we're going to go out, we're going to up the fun level a little bit more. We're going to up the energy and the entertainment a little bit more. At least that's the impression I got from the trailer. And like you, Jones, it was nice not to have much of a clue about what the actual mystery was, but clearly they're going to end up working together and they're going to have some fun along the way with some hijinks and shenanigans. And I'm all for that. And I think it's great. And Millie Bobby Brown is, when she's got this little cheeky personality coming through, I think it makes her very I want to watch her on that screen. So yeah, I think it's great. I'm really looking forward to it. You said it's a month, so it must be a month away from now, right? Well, a month.
Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close to.
Jammer's back in the room.
Echo.
Yeah, it's been going in and out. Some sort of artifact. I'm not sure who.
We are talking the trailer for Enola Holmes. Do you have thoughts and feelings about it?
Yeah, I mean, I was able to guess based on what Danny was saying that it was Enola Holmes because it looks fucking awesome. It looks great. It looks like a lot of fun. I like that it seems like Henry Cavill's character is going to be more intimately involved throughout the story, which is great. It was more than a cameo last time, but it still kind of felt cameo-ish, whereas this one feels more
cameo plus.
Cameo plus. And so yeah, I'm happy to see he's more involved this time around. And I also like the fact that she's older, like she's actually trying to start her own business. It's not just her being young again, which I wondered about because I'm like, it's been like 3 years and she's like an adult now. So I was curious about that. So I'm happy that she's actually trying to do her own business and she's basically getting all of the I guess the overflow from Sherlock Holmes, who basically want Sherlock Holmes and aren't getting it. So I like that aspect that they're dealing with quite a bit. But yeah, it just overall looks like a lot of fun, great personality. What's her name continues to look like she's doing a great job. Looks like she's having a lot of fun tackling a character that has
Millie Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown.
But did I switch the ones? Okay.
I'm Bobby Millie.
I always switched the two first names or whatever.
But yeah, it just looks I'm really happy she has this franchise because I mean, I know she's in a lot of things, but she's also not in that much. And I'm not sure we get to see a lot of her range outside like of Stranger Things, which frankly, as good as it is, it's not a lot of range. So this shows sort of like a different side to her acting talent, and I think it's great. It's important for her longevity and career. So good on her. It looks awesome. It looks better than the first one. I can't wait.
Okay, groovy. Next up, we've got, what was the other trailer? The other trailer was They Cloned Tyrone. So this is a science fiction comedy mystery that's directed by Joel Taylor, who's also a writer on Creed 2. This film stars Jamie Foxx, who's also producing it, as well as John Boyega, Tiani Paris, and Kiefer Sutherland, who I didn't see in the trailer.
What?
Yeah. Did you see it in the trailer? Is that why you're saying that?
Damn it, Chloe.
Oh, okay.
I saw the trailer, but
yeah,
I just
Chloe.
didn't see it in this one.
There are a couple of things I liked about this trailer. I like that it's weird. I like that Jamie Foxx seems to have hit his stride with weird Netflix things.
Like
So
vampire movie and then this.
Yeah, so between the vampire movie and this, I'm glad, because the first one, I think it was fine, but it's not memorable.
You mean Project Power?
That one, see, that couldn't remember the name.
Project Shit. It was so boring. I hated it.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm also kind of skeptical for a couple of reasons. So Taylor, who's the director of this one, while he was a writer on Creed 2, he also worked on Space Jam: A New Legacy. So and so the other person that helped write this script, Tony Rittenmeyer, also worked on Space Jam: A New Legacy. So,
I think in Hollywood, though, it's hard to gauge anyone off of one or two failures because there's so many moving parts. You can have, like, I always point to Roberta Orci and Alex Kurtzman, who would juggle between an awesome Star Trek movie and fucking amazing Spider-Man 2. So it's just like, there's so many moving parts. They're being pulled in different directions that it's hard to tell.
Wait, I'm sorry. So wait, is Spider-Man good? You said it was amazing.
No. Oh, God damn it.
Oh, because he's fucking amazing too, which made it sound like.
Are you happy you derailed the show for that, Jonesy? Are you proud of yourself?
Can't you see the smile on her face?
No, but I thought this movie looked cool.
I don't remember. Cool.
Because, as you mentioned, it's weird. And it seems to really lean into the pulpiness and campiness. But it doesn't look like it has shitty filmmaking, which I think is key. Because I think with a lot of these, you get these filmmakers who lean into the camp and lean into the pulp. But it almost looks like it's justifying shitty filmmaking and shitty acting and shitty scripts. Whereas this one, it's like, it has great talent. The actual camera work and filmmaking look, good. And so it's very much a style, not like a Band-Aid. And I think that's important for these kinds of movies.
Yeah. It doesn't look like they're not forgetting the basics of making a good film and then do all the other stuff as well, rather than one outweighing the other. Yeah, I like it. It almost felt to me when I started watching the trailer, Jonesy, I'm almost like, especially after my, should we say, less than happiness with Nope from Jordan Peele, I almost thought, oh, is this a Jordan Peele film that actually I might really like? It had that little feel about it, not all the way through, but there were certain bits where I thought, okay, I might enjoy this. But then, do you remember, Jonesy, we had a conversation a while ago about blaxploitation movies and things like that? I started to get that kind of vibe too. And then some of the language that was being used, I was kind of, I don't know where this is going to go, but it looks like I'm going to enjoy this.
Well, it looks to me, like a Jordan Peele movie or even a Boots Riley movie, kind of the Afro surrealism type genre.
Oh, look at you pulling out your cinema hat here. Look at you.
It's almost like he went to film school.
Yeah. Well, he usually doesn't lean into that, so I'm just surprised. Good job, Nick. I'm proud of you.
Nick get a treat.
Yes, you get a treat.
Throw him a treat.
Yeah, I think you're both right. I love that aspect of it, right? That conspiratorial kind of thing. And that's kind of how this looks. So I'm looking forward to it.
Also, at the beginning, I got this is a stupid comparison, but hopefully you'll understand the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot vibe in the elevator.
Oh yeah. When they're in the elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't mind that movie.
No, here's the thing is I don't mind it, but what bothered me is that scene was indicative that it could have been so much better. It was
Yeah.
it was aggressively mediocre for what it was. It was competent, but it wasn't anything special, and it actually could have been. And the
Yeah.
second one, it bothered me because the trailer for the second one was awesome, but the movie wasn't. So that was disappointing too.
I don't know if I saw the second one. Is that the one with Casey
I was
Jones?
just going to say, did they make a 2nd
Mhm.
one with the
Yeah, they
did.
with the
It
Michael
was
Bay and
Kang
Out
was
of
in
the
it, or whatever
Shadows.
his name is.
Out of the Shadows. It had the Tricky song playing in the trailer.
Mm-mm.
wow. Who?
Yeah, I don't know.
What?
But anyway,
It's tricky,
Um,
tricky.
December 30th for They Clone Tyrone, which is the other thing I love about these Netflix movies. Like by the time you get you barely hear, but like you might get a mention of them in the news, like, oh, this thing is being made. And you don't see a trailer until like a month before it comes out.
Which is why
I love.
I love
Yeah.
that, but they've also fucked up expectations because when I heard that Glass Onion was getting reviews, I'm like, ooh, is it coming out next week? It's like, no, December. Fuck you. And I'm like, oh.
Oh,
It's like I've been
a whole 2
conditioned.
months.
I've been conditioned to think that as soon as a trailer or something pops out for a Netflix movie, that I'm going to get it soon. And when it doesn't happen, it's very disappointing.
But even then, it's still only 2 months.
Yeah, I'm a fucking impatient bitch. You know that.
Kyle agrees.
No argument
Kyle,
from me.
yeah.
No argument. No argument from me.
Or anyway.
You guys ready to move on?
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
Jammer is. He's impatient bitch.
Well, hey, just a heads up. I don't know if my internet. So my internet went down. I'm tethered to my phone right now. So at some point, I'm going to transition, and you're probably going to lose me. I don't even know if the internet's working now. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
And then we'll just be stuck with The Last of Us. Anyway. We finally got the first trailer for The Last of Us, the HBO Max series. This is the story of Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, and they are playing Joel and Ellie in a kind of post-apocalyptic, semi-apocalyptic world. These are individuals who find each other in a world gone awry. There is a pandemic that has spread across the world, spawning, I forget what they're called. Clickers? I don't remember. That's the sound they make. I don't remember if that's what they are called. But anyway, I know that Jammer and Kyle, you guys are the only ones besides me that have a PlayStation. Have you guys played this?
No.
So
No.
I played, let me rephrase that. I watched my roommate play it for several hours back in 2011, 2012 or something.
Has
I
it
don't
been that
remember
long?
anything
Wow.
other than it looked really good.
I
can't
it's
say
weird.
I'm invested in the story, but I mean, I can understand why people like it.
So the note that I have for this is like I've watched people play it and I've played through certain parts of the game. I even have a copy of it. I got it free with my PlayStation. I had no desire to play it, mostly because I had already played the Telltale Walking Dead game at that point. And I know it wasn't exactly the same, but it was a father figure finding a child kind of relationship. And I was like, oh, I just did this. I don't need more of this.
The
And so I skipped it
Mandalorian.
for that reason. Well, no, this is like 10
another
years
Pedro
before that.
Pascal classic where he finds a child.
No, the game. So I skipped the game for that reason, and I'll probably be into this, and I'm curious whether or not this will make me go back and play the game just because of that. Because I know there are scenes from the trailer that are straight from the game. So I'm curious, will that build my excitement for the game, given that I haven't played one of those Walking Dead games in a very long time. So we'll see. What'd you guys think of the trailer?
That was awesome without having the game knowledge much more than what's in the, the ether. People talk about it all the time. But yeah, I mean, it's a Pedro Pascal project on HBO. Like, it's going to be great. And it's from the guy who did Chernobyl, which is one of my favorite HBO shows. So I've been stoked since it was announced. Even Pedro Pascal was announced, just to be like, oh, the guy who did Chernobyl's doing like one of everyone's favorite video game plots. Like, sure. And then Pedro Pascal was added, and it's like, there's that icing, in the middle of the cake too. It's like a molten lava cake full of Pedro, ready to burst out. There's hot cream everywhere. So I'm excited.
What? Whoa. Sit down. Have a cold shower, Nick.
That's for after the show.
Danny, as a reformed gamer, what are your thoughts and feelings about this trailer?
Yeah, I have no connection to the original IP whatsoever, and I must admit, when I did a little bit of what is The Last of Us? It's one of those games. I've played those before. I hope it's not going to be the same kind of movie as that. But when the trailer came out, and obviously I knew that Pedro Pascal was involved, so that raised my expectations a little bit. And although I haven't seen Chernobyl, I've only ever heard good things about it. So that tag at the beginning from the creators, directors of, I'm like, okay, well now, even though it's from a franchise I'm not familiar with and I didn't have much connection to and not holding much hope, those two things made me a bit more interested in the trailer. And what I saw in the trailer, I looked like it was going to be something at least different from these type of films, post-apocalyptic, trying to survive, monsters chasing them, bad humans chasing them. It's very generic in that sense, but going in fresh, not knowing anything about the franchise right now, it looks good to me, but I will wait and see. Obviously, I'm not exactly like chomping at the bit for it because I do feel like I've seen a lot of this kind of stuff before, but with the talent involved, as we've mentioned a few times tonight already or today, I've got expectations. So right now, you have my interest. Yep.
You had my curiosity.
But do you have my curiosity?
I think it'll be interesting because I feel like, with the exception of the most recent Resident Evil, TV shows have done a better job at adapting video games than movies. So, like, if you look at Castlevania and Arcane and
The Witcher.
The Witcher,
Edge Runners,
and that was the other. Yep. So you haven't finished it, right? You still haven't finished it?
Not the voice from
still
God.
haven't finished it, but that is
okay.
Even if it bottomed out from there, the first 6 episodes have been an amazing ride, and it's not going to bottom out. So yeah.
You know what's crazy about Edge Runners is that it is so good that it made me like, should I go buy the video game? Do I want to play this game? Because Edge Runner Cyberpunk is what Kyle and I are talking about. It actually takes place in 2076 and is set within the continuity of the game, so it's only 1 year before 2077. So I'm curious if this Last of Us TV show is going to have the same impact on me, where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go play this, just like with Edge Runners, where I'm almost ready to pull the trigger on that game.
Since you already own it. It's
Jonesy.
not like you have to download it.
Idea.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk started as a tabletop RPG.
Yeah. You want to play it? Can we play it? Should we play it together?
Your guys' show is just the idea. something to look into. I know
we'll see.
The three of us anime fans are pretty
Danny
big
is the
on
biggest
the
holdout
thing,
on this shit.
Yeah.
Come on back. So yeah, do we have any other? So we've got one more trailer. The last trailer.
Yeah, one more.
One called Justin Long movie.
One more. So we have, it is, depending on what trailer you've watched, it's either called the new Justin Long movie or it is called Barbarian, which Nick Dahl was told not to watch. Did you watch, Nick?
I mean, I was told not to watch.
You said don't watch it.
Oh, did I? Oh, I did watch it.
Yeah, you said in the Discord, you were like, I was told not to watch it.
I watched it anyway. That's because one of my friends already saw it, and he's like, "Don't watch the trailer," but didn't seem to.
He said, "Go in cold." Why do I'm paying more attention to your friends?
Yeah, well, at the time, I said that I watched it anyway. It's because I have a friend who saw it.
Like, who the fuck said that? Your friend. Okay.
Yeah, because he saw it and he's like, "Don't watch the trailer," but really isn't anything in the trailer that seemed to spoil it. And it's by one of the whitest kids as the director, Zach Krieger. So that piqued my interest. And also he kind of said what the reviews said, where it's like, it just comes out of left field as far as a movie you've never heard about being one of the best.
Well, yeah, they advertise it as Justin Long's new film.
Yeah, I know. We were discussing that.
Yeah.
So that's actually the second trailer. I didn't realize that there's another trailer for it that is not focused on him. I didn't watch it, but it calls the movie what it's actually called, which is Barbarian. So the synopsis for it is: a young woman traveling to Detroit for a job interview books a rental home, but when she arrives late at night, she discovers that the house is double booked and a strange man is already staying there. Against her better judgment, she decides to spend the evening, but soon discovers that there is more to fear than just an unexpected house guest. So, yeah, as someone who generally likes scary movies, and I don't know who else does, but I fondly remember Drag Me to Hell, which is another Justin Long movie. I'm looking forward to this. It kind of sucks it's not in wide release yet, but one day soon. But what do you guys think?
So was that synopsis? Did you just say a young woman and she goes to the house?
That's what I was saying.
So do we think that maybe this is like a Drew Barrymore thing from the beginning of Scream, where Justin Long's in it only for the first 5 minutes? He's the first guy to get wiped out, and they're doing a whole switcheroo. This is not this, and that's that, and that kind of thing. Which I'm kind of digging about. It. Yeah,
that's all I was thinking. Almost vice versa. He shows up after shit's gone down.
Yeah.
So that's entirely possible.
He like finds maybe that's why and stuff, and he's like, "Hey, we've like squatters or something."
Or apologies to Justin Long if his pronouns have changed, and that's what we're meant to be referring to. I apologize for that if that's what we meant to do. I don't know.
Justine Long.
No, don't do that. Don't dead name him.
You guys ready to do some news? We need like a news song. We need like I gotta find like a news. Yeah, something like something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Add work for me.
Add work for Kyle.
Where is this audio artifact coming from?
I don't know. I've been watching it bounce around on everyone's. I really don't know where it's at. I
Did
don't
it go
know.
away when I was gone?
No. Did it?
And it just pops up and like
even when I was talking,
random.
It popped up. So
yeah.
Who
knows?
The machine.
Who knows? Anyway, news. We got some news. Not only do we have news, we have big news. Deadpool. So Deadpool 3, while there was no announcement at D23, we did hear Ryan Reynolds himself drop some Hugh news about the forthcoming project. Hugh Jackman is confirmed in the video that he is going to be coming back and reprising his role as Wolverine. The video is absolutely hilarious. I'm kind of hoping that's indicative of the level of comedy we're going to get for this.
I mean, it's based on the first two movies.
I want it. I want it.
Yeah, I want it. But
I just love
him,
like him pouring his aviation gin into a coffee cup, like just into it. So good. That just reminds me a little bit of. Do you guys ever watch Hot Rod?
Yeah.
That scene where Andy Samberg is just like casually walking down the grocery store with a cart jam packed full of alcohol. It's just like is piled on full of like glass bottles, and he just like takes one, looks at the label, just like calmly just puts it at the top of the pile and just keeps pushing his cart along.
So Danny, to your point about wanting it now, you're gonna have to wait a while. So September 6th, 2024 is when this is going to come out. There's some interesting things that are coming out about this film, though. So first off, it's going to be an introduction to this character Wolverine into the MCU. So this film is going to take place in the MCU.
Okay.
It's going to
be clear, everything is in the MCU these days.
Yeah, but I almost wondered if it'd be smarter to keep this separate for now until you do Secret Wars or something.
Why?
So you don't have to explain why Wolverine suddenly in the MCU without doing all that magic vajagic. Whoa, that sounded weird.
By that
stuff
point,
that Danny.
In 2 years' time,
Danny crazy.
Yeah. So it's he's going to be in it, and there was a follow-up video to the first one where they were saying like, hey, we've got a lot of questions about how this is going to work, when does this take place, what timeline is this in, how is he in the MCU, and they do like a almost Benny Hill type thing where they start talking and it all speeds up, and then you can't really and you can't hear what they're
There's a
actually
lip
saying.
reading of it,
They had a
though.
song playing over the top. The version I watched, they had a song playing over the
Yeah.
top, so you couldn't hear what they were saying, but you could
Someone
just
did
make
a
out the accent.
lip reading of it though, and they still don't say any spoilers. Obviously,
Yeah,
they're just
no.
like, and then I go like this, and then you go like that, and then
Yeah, I
it'll be
didn't
super
expect it to be anything
violent.
serious.
Yeah,
So by the time this comes out in the MCU, we will have had Professor X, Ms. Marvel, Wolverine, and Namor as mutants in the MCU. It's kind of interesting. I'm curious what you guys think about that. Actually, I have a lot of questions for you guys about that. And so pick whichever one you want. So we've got a bunch of mutants that will have been introduced into the MCU. How are they going to make them actual mutants? Because for me, it feels like a defining characteristic of being a mutant is being ostracized. And in the wackadoo world that we have in the MCU, they aren't that different or special. It seems like it's going to have to be event oriented. That's my mind. So that's one question. Another question is, there is some discussion about ruining Hugh Jackman's perfect ending with Logan. And so what do you guys think about that? And then the other one is, are we going to get the yellow suit?
I'm gonna answer the last two, so I don't take up too much time. Hell yeah,
Let's
we're
hear it.
getting the yellow suit. This is the MCU. Like, of course they're gonna do that. And I mean, yeah, no, I don't think it takes anything away from Logan. I mean, this feels like a No Way Home situation where they watch No Way Home and they're like, we should keep giving the fans exactly what they want. And they've always wanted a Deadpool Wolverine movie. So yeah, I was super stoked. I couldn't believe, I almost thought when that news came out, I was almost like, is it April 1st? Like, this is supposed to be happening. Like, Hugh Jackman said he's done. But yes, but it does seem like also legitimately he's back because he loves Ryan Reynolds and the role, not because they pulled up a dump truck full of money to his house. They're good friends. So,
Might be both.
Now, of course he's getting paid a shit ton of money, but I don't think he'd be doing it just for the money.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm
Danny,
not
what
even
do you
going to
think?
try to answer the first part of the question because it's a whole can of worms.
Yeah, you know what? Deadpool. Deadpool is my MCU character. I love the film, so their relationship, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, their off-screen, their friendship, their rivalry has been a joy to watch over the last few years. Their Twitter stuff, it's just brilliant, and so it is something that the fans we use that loosely, but it is something that we wanted to watch, and I think this is a great example of, well, why not have it? The Deadpool world is something we can play in. Now, whether or not, honestly, we don't know yet, right? I mean, yes, he's in it as Wolverine, but that doesn't mean that Deadpool 3 is entirely Deadpool versus Wolverine. It could be a very small part that he's playing in it, as far as we know right now. It could be anything.
I
So,
doubt.
well,
No, it's gonna be big.
well,
And
I don't
here's the
know.
original
This is the thing.
pitch. When it was at
Go on.
Fox, the pitch was it's a road trip movie in the vein of Rashomon. So like each of them are telling different stories about like the exact same like stop on the road trip.
Then whatever it is, I'm super stoked about it. I really am. And you guys will know this whole freaking multiverse thing is like, no one can bitch and complain that we're having this from this and this old Fox one and this, because you've put up with all this shit from the multiverse stuff already. And like Jonesy said, we've got now, not going to talk about the new episode of She-Hulk, but there's certain characters in that are like, well, how can you be upset about mutants when you've got that character in here already and this character? So I don't know how the whole thing is going to play with mutants. By the time this comes out,
Are you talking about Man-Bull?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's not a spoiler.
Yeah,
like, I feel like you can't really spoil that episode.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. But I'm just saying that those characters are out there already, right? We've got what's the female one that had a fight with She-Hulk in the courtroom? I didn't even know who she was. Electra or Fantasia or whatever her freaking name was. Yeah, so we've got these weird and wacky, wonderful people flying around the MCU right now anyway. So I don't know how the mutants will come in. But back to Deadpool, I'm super stoked about this. I don't care how it happens, and no one can complain about this because you've had the multiverse, which everyone seems to fucking love except me. So shut up, you guys. Give me what I want, which is these two in a road movie, having fun, fighting shit. Yellow suit, old suit, young suit, don't care. Just have these two. Thank you very much. And I will fight anyone in the car park with the weapon of choice being a cat. If anyone bitches about this, bizarre world, this old Wolverine. Are you listening, Kyle? because it's fun, and I need fun from my MCU right now. So I cannot wait till 2024.
Did you even?
That's it.
Did you even hear what my only issue is that I don't care about Jackman. Like, I nothing this. Like, this doesn't get my yeah, it doesn't get my faucet flowing or juices flowing or whatever you want to say. It doesn't do it for me.
Yes.
And it is burdened by everything else since, say, The Force Awakens on the nostalgia kick. And I'm not one that usually has things that I didn't like before grow on me. Like a song every now and then, but like a movie or a franchise, the X-Men franchise from Fox, that didn't grow on me with time. And because I didn't like it then, and I was on the the hashtag give the rights back to Marvel for everything Sony and Fox for years, because I don't have that affinity for it. Hugh Jackman's the best part of those movies in general, but Ewan McGregor was the best part of the prequels. I still freaking hate those, and his show was trash. So, it's not like I hate. It's not like I hate the idea at all. Hell, if this had come out, before the whole multiversal, fiasco here in Marvel, I'd probably be happier with it if it had happened back under Fox.
What does it matter though?
It again, we're just talking about how why I'm not all excited about it. I'm not saying this shouldn't be made. I am just one of those that is like, I don't care for this. And I was just explaining that.
Your Hugh Jackman comment, because if this was Deadpool and a new Wolverine actor, I would have no interest in it past it being a Deadpool movie. Like, it has to be Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. Otherwise,
no one would be. No one would be. But I also wonder.
It depends on who it is.
Yeah. Like right off the bat, though, like a Wolverine and Deadpool movie as that new Wolverine's introduction, I think you'd have to build them a bit.
Sure. You don't have to. You don't have to do anything.
So
Jammery, we all know you don't have to do anything.
There was a time when people would be introduced in movies, and they would just be in that movie, and they'd be good characters, and that was it.
Well, that's the biggest question. Is it's highly unlikely this will end up being the MCU's future Wolverine. I posited to Manny that they would likely go with X-23. What do you guys think about that?
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Carl.
I hope not.
I think that's not a go. It's not something I necessarily
want. Manny was not wanting it either.
Yeah, why not X-23?
Because
yeah, go on. Sorry, John.
Well, I would like them to do a proper X-Men team before they move on to new characters. And so, fair. I don't think I would mind getting a movie or two of an X-Men team before they were like, all right, it's actually going to be X-23. But I'm going to do the Dave Bautista. Give me what I want. And what I want
then we just have to, we can't have, what's her name in it anymore? Whose name I forget. The girl from Logan.
Oh, I mean, well, that's not true, right? Because if they do it the way I'm saying, she has time to age into the role.
Yeah. She's like in her 20s or something in the comic. And she's Wolverine. She even goes by Wolverine.
And so
we know the actor's doing
it
stuff.
Depends on who it depends on who it is. Josh Brolin is Cable. I really liked. I thought it was fun.
I hope he doesn't get lost in the shuffle of adding in.
That's what my question was going to be. Will he get lost? Because kind of the same. My assumption is that he's sort of the same straight man to Deadpool as Wolverine would be.
True.
I don't know. I have to wait till I see it.
Or maybe he's just not in this one, which is fine.
Excellent.
Let me ask you guys this. I am curious about this. Actually, did anybody have anything else to say about the questions that I asked about this? I'm not moving on from this topic, but I do want to ask another question about it.
What were the questions again? Because I think I popped out for half of it.
So, are we getting the yellow suit? Yes. And the perfect ending. I think you were here for that.
But didn't they cover that in that second Twitter thing? That was the only thing they didn't fudge over or play song over, was that happened because it happened in 2036 or whatever date that it was set.
I mean,
remember the date.
And
but that
also,
means
its own
only if you
pocket
believe
universe,
that
too.
2029 in the Logan universe is actually what's
it wasn't
going
even
to
supposed to
happen.
be part of the.
Yeah, exactly.
Logan's
Yeah.
not
And
officially even
it's-
X-Men canon.
And
It's
not
just
only
its
that,
own
but
film.
they play off their release year being 2024, and that is the year Endgame happens is 2024
Right.
or 2023 2024. So and No Way Home happens like that winter and everything. So no one knows what the hell the timeline or multiverse thing. I'm with Danny. I don't question that aspect of it at all. My whole thing is I'm not excited by Jackman. It's not that I'm hating it. It's not that I want to cancel it or see it fail. I hope it's amazing. I hope it's great. It doesn't do it for me. But
You know what
that's
does it for me though?
the time
I get
thing
your
is
point,
weird.
Kyle, because I like Wolverine well enough, but like I don't care that much about Wolverine.
I was a Gambit fan and a Nightcrawler fan.
But my point is that what I like most about it is Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman's relationship and how much fun that'll bring to it. I like that more than I even care about him being Wolverine again.
Yeah, more than the character Wolverine.
I
like Hugh Jackman.
That's what
And we can really hate on And we can really hate on Fox for not having done that in a timely manner, because it was wanted for so long. And I also worry about what happens with Negasonic now, because she's one of my favorite parts of the Deadpool films is his interactions with her and Colossus. So it's interesting. We'll wait to see how it goes down, and I hope it's great.
You know what that means though? So that means a couple of things. One, so somebody expressed a concern that we would lose him in the shuffle because it's just another straight man. So we've already had Colossus, we've had Cable. Wolverine might just be another straight man to that. But what it might mean is that we get a proper fastball special.
Can you explain
very excited
what you're
about that.
about? I don't know what that means.
It's
a power
when
move
Colossus picks up Wolverine and throws him into something like a Sentinel.
Power moves, Jammer. Power moves.
I don't know why that excites me, but it might actually happen. This is cool.
I was gonna say, like Tony bouncing repulsor beams off Cap's shield. It's a shame we won't get Tony Wolverine splitting Tony's beams with his claws, but you could see Ironheart fill that in. So
Rhodey
or
Rhodey,
right.
True. Rhodey.
Iron Man.
We'll talk
4,
about him later,
Armor
or
Wars.
you guys will.
Yeah, we'll see. Actually, we could talk about it now. Let's jump into it now. You guys ready to talk about it now? You have anything else to say about this? Am I going to mess up the order too badly if I do that, Kyle? Maybe. Whatever. It's fine.
Shook his head no. Gave you a thumbs up.
All right. So we've got other big Marvel news. Actually, I think that's what I said we were going to do, right after Deadpool.
Yeah.
So Armor Wars is being retooled as a movie, which is pretty exciting. It is no longer going to be a TV show. It didn't have a director even at the time, but it is now graduating to a movie. What's the date? So they were eyeing a 2023 start for this, but I don't think they were going to make that. So
because now they have to retool it a lot. If the script was like 6 hours, and
I don't.
It's like 2 hours.
I don't mind that.
No, I'm cool
mind
with
that.
that. Like,
let's be real. It was 6 hours, but it had 4 hours of content.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you think?
Yeah,
I think we keep complaining about the TV shows running for too long and just filling it. Do you think Marvel's listened to that and decided this is one of the movies we could, rather than stretch it, let's keep it 2 hours? Or my other thought was, maybe they're loading it up with so many actors that are expensive. Like even like I hope to see Rockwell's not expensive, but I hope to see him back. And like,
is he for sure coming back? So I saw
no,
you.
he has not been announced at all. But he's someone who they've brought back every other character. Why not bring back an actually beloved character?
Bring back
like they made
Iron
Abomination funny.
I like how you said an actually beloved character.
Because
I remember when he first came out.
At the time, no one
hated
wanted
him.
to see. At the time, I was, even though we didn't get him and you teased him, it's like I'm fine leaving Leader and Abomination and never seeing them again. But nowadays it's like
I'm like one of
Abomination,
5
he's
people that
funny
like that
now and
movie.
has a personality.
I like
I
Iron Man too.
wanted all of it. I liked the Incredible Hulk, so I'm one of
Like
5
Trevor
people
is
that
now getting like 3 projects total with the 2 he's already had.
super
So
weird.
it's like I
That's
love
so
it. It's like
weird.
I would feel weird not to see Hammer again, but to see everyone else again.
I'm curious. Here's the thing that I'm actually curious about, and I want to know what you guys think. How will this impact Ironheart? Because a lot of the conversation that they were having was that this was either going to lead into or be part of that or introduce, not introduce, but help shepherd that character along. So
This
do
is
you
definitely
imagine that?
after though, right? It's always been set to be after because they're already shooting Ironheart and we have set photos, and obviously we don't even have a director for even the TV show version of
Mhm.
Armor Wars. So I think it could still carry the exact same weight. They just be like, we're making
Was
it 2 hours
Ironheart-
and we're giving Don Cheadle a chance to lead a Marvel movie.
Was Ironheart ever supposed to come out before? Wait,
So it's all I know is
what was the
it's
order?
always supposed to come out before Armor Wars.
What's
Okay,
it?
so
And
nothing
she's obviously
changes
going to be
then.
in Wakanda forever too. So
Wakanda forever. I love that trailer so much.
Yeah, so the TV show it looks like it's supposed to be slated for 2023.
and like I said, they're already shooting. They're deep into shooting Ironheart. Like we've seen set photos of her costume and of Hood or Red, or I don't think it's Red Hood because that's DC, but we've seen that
DC.
character on set too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's called the
So
Hood or something, and his hood is red. So
yeah, I think the thing that I'm excited the most about is I would like to see Rhodey get the spotlight and have his own movie.
about
I'm curious what
time.
that means
Next
for
time,
his
baby.
character.
next time,
Yeah, next time.
I know I was
But
annoyed.
it's funny
with,
because there was no next time.
I know.
I don't know. It's
Wah,
so sad.
wah.
There was I was been disappointed in or I was disappointed with Iron Man 2 because I feel like they didn't properly build up Rhodey enough. He felt increasingly secondary. I do like how he was in Endgame. He wasn't in there enough, but
Iron
he
Man
was
3
in there,
was pretty good.
or he wasn't in there a lot, but he was in there enough to like for me to actually be like, okay, finally, I could actually see him starting to
Civil
lead
War,
things a bit more.
they built him up quite a bit. And Iron Man 3, I would say they built him
No,
up quite
I
a
don't think
bit.
it's Civil War they did. He felt like Iron Man's
Buddy.
crony.
But even like
Buddy,
in
yeah.
then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like it's a bit part, but it kind of like builds his like
Yeah, it all feels like
world and
It was a
personality.
cameo.
And then we'll also see him in Secret Invasion before we'll see him in Armor Wars. So I'm glad
is the problem
he's
with
getting his own movie.
the early Marvel. The problem with early Marvel is that like we spent so much time with the main characters, and we were supposed to attach ourselves to the secondary characters enough over time that when they took the mantle, it wouldn't be jarring. But the problem is that we didn't get them in their own standalone movies, and because the Marvel movies are so focused on the main characters, it was really hard to think of them as anything but secondary. I'm happy that we're finally getting them in like, okay, just bite the bullet, make them lead in their movie. That way we can get more attached to them as lead characters. I think it's
Falcon
something we
or
needed to
Winter
do for
Soldier.
a long time. I'm specifically
Agreed.
talking about Rhodey.
Well, I mean, in general, you're kind of talking about sidekicks. And it's like now
Yeah,
they're all
and-
getting their own movies, and you're like, fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I like the fact that they're turning into a movie. Hopefully this shows flexibility in the future where it's like, we've announced this as a series, but you know what? The format for this character or this story works better as a movie. I like that flexibility there because
Well, Inhumans was a
and-
movie as part of the MCU at one point.
You got to
And
let
then
him
they made
finish
the
the
opposite
sentence.
decision. Sorry.
I don't even remember where I was going with that. Nick, let's talk, sir. Please.
I'm tired.
There is one more question I had based on this. I'm curious if you think that this has any relevance as to why they did this. Don Cheadle's contract is done. So I'm curious, did they think that this was a more appropriate way to handle the character based on that?
Maybe it was a way to entice him more. Be like, hey, feature
Yeah.
film, and then maybe you can re-up for another 3 appearances or something.
I think this might
Sounds
be the
about
last time
right.
we see him. We're close
Maybe,
to it.
but I don't know. Thor's still running around. We have lots of characters that I thought we wouldn't be seeing for a long time, and they're still popping in and out. So who knows?
Mm.
Like I've gone
if an
past
Armor
trying to
Wars
predict,
movie,
this is the last appearance.
if an Armor Wars movie makes a few $100 million, then I imagine we'll probably see another one.
I don't think Don Cheadle's one of the people who's gonna like turn down, be like, I'm done with the Marvel movies. He's like Chris Hemsworth or Mark Ruffalo so far, where he's like, why not keep?
He's not at all like those
I-
guys. He's had a
yeah,
very
he's not.
lucrative indie career. What are you on?
indie career don't pay
And-
the bills.
Yeah, they do.
If you're Don Cheadle, they do. Anyway,
Because I think the difference there is like you had Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Hemsworth trying to do big budget movies outside of Marvel. I don't think Don Cheadle's ever tried to do that outside of Marvel. I can't recall a single instance where he's just like, I'm gonna be a leading man in a blockbuster movie and then crash
I'm
and
gonna be
burn.
the villain.
I haven't seen it.
I'm the villain in Space Jam, y'all. I'm the Warnerverse.
Forgot about that.
He
we
probably
don't
did
talk
that, and
about
he's like,
Space Jam.
More
That was
Marvel,
him trying to
please.
break
Less
out. That was
Space Jam.
Don Cheadle's. He hoped that would be his big break, and it wasn't. Poor
That's
Don
why I
Cheadle.
think he's gonna be happy to stay at Marvel for a while.
There
he's
you go.
joking.
You heard it here first.
I know that's why.
All right, you guys ready to move on to more Marvel stuff?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Feige. So we got I'm going to toss in a rumor, and I'm going to say something to make it sound like a ridiculous rumor. So there was a rumor that was posted that Harrison Ford is in the running to take over as General Thunderbolt Ross. I can't even. It's hard to say. Earlier this year we lost William Hurt. It's always hard. I always have to think about it's like John Hurt, William Hurt. William Hurt earlier this year, and everyone knows that he is the individual that was playing Thunderbolt Ross, who in the comic book lore eventually becomes the Red Hulk. And it's funny looking at the roster of folks that are going to be in the Thunderbolts. I am whelmed, perfectly whelmed. I'm not sure that Harrison Ford taking over the role would do anything for me, but I bring that up to say that there was an interview with Kevin Feige in Empire, and he's having a conversation with him about T'Challa. And he says that it's too soon to recast T'Challa. It just felt like it was way too soon to recast. Stan Lee always said that Marvel represents the world outside your window. We had to have a talk about how, as extraordinary and fantastical as our characters and stories are, there's a relatable and human element to everything we do. The world is still processing the loss of Chad, and Ryan poured that into the story. So the rest of this interview is actually going to come out today. Today, I think we're recording on the 30th. It's actually the 1st for me. But anyway, what do you guys think about either of those stories as they relate to this quote?
I think the Harrison Ford thing is about as realistic a scoop as when someone was said Spielberg was going to direct Fantastic Four. It's one of those rumors you're like, nope, that's the most bullshit rumor I've ever heard. Someone just pulled
But
that out of their ass.
it's not from a random person either. It's from
That's right.
Jeff Snyder.
Snyder.
Who's a well-known scooper within the industry. So,
And it'll be interesting because we actually have another scoop coming up from him after this.
So is Feige kind of like saying like, oh, you respect Chadwick so much, but fuck William Hurt. We can, because I think he
to be
can do
fair,
the
William Hurt's been
Thunderbolts.
playing this role since 2008, technically. So it's not versus, Black Panther was in since what, 2017? I guess 16. Yeah.
16 was
Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, that was already 8 years ago. Wait, no, 6
I
months
just
ago.
think you don't need to recast him to have his presence felt. Like you don't
Well, I
have
mean,
to show
you need to
Thunderbolt
recast him
Ross.
if you want him to actually be present, though, physically.
No, but I think he could be behind the scenes. Valis is front man. And I don't think we're ever getting Red Hulk, and I don't want to ever see Red Hulk.
Yeah, if you want,
I feel like it would just be easier to.
You need to recast him.
I feel like it would just be easier to throw in Abomination instead of Red Hulk. And I say that because that's hard to figure out because we're still in the middle of the She-Hulk storyline. So I don't know if that's going to be the case. What is that sound?
I don't hear anything.
You don't hear anything? I hear like this dinging sound. It's really weird. It's disconcerting. So yeah, I think that they should just use Abomination, but we'll see what She-Hulk does and whether or not there's even a possibility by the time we get to the end of the show. Danny, what do you think?
About which one in particular, or both?
Any of them. So we've got the William Hurt story where he's potentially going to be replaced by Harrison Ford. And then we've got the idea of Feige saying it is too soon to cast another actor that has also died.
Yeah, I think that first one about Harrison Ford, I think that's I don't think so. I'm not sure how I'd feel about it if it became true, but I don't think it's true, regardless of the source. I don't know, but why not? I suppose. And we've discussed the whole recasting thing quite a few times, I think, right now, and I think we're all in agreement. But every time I hear conversations about it, I'm always very much sitting on the fence, going, "Yeah, I understand that, and that's a good point." So I'm not actually sure where I sit on that, to be honest with you, Jones. It's a tough one for me. Yeah, I'm not to say I don't have any opinion, but basically it says I don't know. I understand arguments from both sides. I don't know which way I'll sit on this one. So I'm going to sit here on the fence and wait to see what happens.
We'll see. Yeah.
It was a missed opportunity because, well, yes and no. So it was a missed opportunity in that the character could have gone on to do more things under, a different actor. I think that would have been fun. The character is bigger than that actor, than Chadwick Boseman, as much as we all love him. But it also has afforded them the opportunity to do Wakanda Forever, which seems to be really impactful because of the death, based on the trailer. Once again, I don't know for sure. So, I mean, right now, I still think they should recast him, but, maybe at the end of the day, that choice gave them a limitation that allowed them to do something really creative and different that can propel things forward in a way it wouldn't have. So maybe it could be a positive thing. But I personally, if it were up to me, I would have recast him immediately because I think the character is bigger than the actor. But anyways, back as far as Thunderbolts go, bring me Harrison Ford. I like that rumor. That would be cool to have Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross. I'll be all for that.
Like I can just see him using the finger. I can see him using the finger to dictate to people what they're going to do.
It's like the Sokovia Accords.
Would they do facial capture so he could be Red Hulk? Oh, awful idea.
I don't see them doing Red Hulk, but who knows, right? Who knows at this point?
Abomination. Give me Abomination.
But Jeff Snyder is obviously not everything he says turns out to be true, but at the very least, I believe there's a kernel of truth that there are multiple sources that they're thinking about it and that there really are discussions going on behind the scenes. Whether or not that ends up being true is one thing, but I do think it's actually at least in discussions on some level, which I think is cool. And I would love Harrison Ford to be in the MCU.
Interesting. Okay. Not as an actor, not as a character that's been cast off by another actor. I don't know.
Either way,
I like it.
Either way, I'd be okay with it.
Okay. All right. So we've already talked about Jeff Snyder. Let's talk about another thing that insider Jeff Snyder has said. So we have just lost the director for Blade. So Mahershala Ali was going to be Blade. I think he was announced as Blade like what, a year and a half ago.
It was like 2019. It was the last Comic-Con that I went to, and that was 2019. So it's been 3 years. While. That's crazy. Apparently, over at Marvel Studios, they've been sitting with their thumbs up their asses, just doing nothing because
it's really frustrating to me. Anywhere. Like, and the best we got is his voice.
Yeah, they've been doing. Yeah, right. I forgot about that. Eternals. The thing that bothers me about it is that, it's like it's been 3 years. What have you been doing for 3 years? But also I say that, and Marvel Studios has churned out 1 million movies and TV shows, so it's not like they've been doing nothing. But at the same time, it's like, what happened? What's been going on with this movie? And to transition, I guess, Jonesy, not to take the story away from you, but Jeff Snyder mentioned in one of his tweets that he has read that the movie has it's 90 pages long currently. The current draft of the script has 2 lackluster action scenes, and that Mahershala Ali is frustrated with the process. And this movie is supposed to come out next year. What, 13 months, 12 months? I forget the date specifically from now. And that's not happening. There's no way that's happening. They're supposed to start production in, I believe, 6 weeks. And so whoever they bring in,
Blade was slated for production.
No, 3 November 2023 is when it was supposed to be coming out.
So whoever comes in,
Jonesy, damn it,
is gonna have to prep the movie in less than 6 weeks, which is crazy and ridiculous. It's The Hobbit all over again, and we know how that turned out. That's not.
I know who they should get. I know they should get.
Who?
Louis Leiter.
He's already doing what's it called? Fast 10.
Yeah.
Louis Leterrier.
Leterrier.
Is that the joke? He's
I keep forgetting his
when
French.
someone drops out like 2 weeks before or 2 weeks into
You keep
a
forgetting his
project,
French. Did you not watch The Transporter?
I watched oh god, what's the TV show that he just did for Netflix?
Clash of the Titans. You just watched that?
No, not that one. Fuck that movie.
Didn't he do Incredible Hulk?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yep, which is the reason why I was excited when he took over for Fasten.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jammer, you did do the majority of the story. The name of the director, Bassem Tariq, that's who dropped out. It's fascinating, and I'm really curious what Mahershala Ali's contract looks like that he isn't leaving this project, because I feel like this movie was supposed to start shooting in a couple of weeks.
Like 6 weeks.
For him to leave that close, we've been having conversations and talking about Fast and Furious. It has to almost be that bad behind the scenes where he's just like, I'm out. Because for a director to leave that soon, and not even any movie, as much as I love Fast and Furious is not a Marvel movie. And for him to just dip out like that is kind of fascinating and frightening.
And there was another comment.
I'll
let you finish.
While the number of pages in the script doesn't quite bother me that much, the most memorable stuff about Blade is him beating the shit out of vampires, right? And so when you say that there are 2 lackluster action scenes, that is more frightening to me than however many pages there are. What I loved about so it's funny that we're talking about Blade in the same show where we're talking about X-Men. Kyle, to your point about those movies being like, they were okay. I walked out of Blade fucking amped, right? And those came out about the same time. Like the rave music, like that opening scene was fucking fantastic. And then it just, oh my God.
The great holds up.
If you can't do that, you're fucking up, right? If you can't beat a 24-year-old movie at this point, you've done something wrong. So that's probably the frightening thing to me. Jammer, what were you about to say? I'm sorry.
So the big thing for me as well is I think another comment from Snyder, where he's hearing that Kevin Feige is being spread too thin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we've all been feeling it. I have my personal opinions about the way people critique Marvel shows or Marvel projects. It does bother me how often they're like, well, what did it do? It didn't move the storyline forward. I'm just like, but it was its own thing. It's fine.
But were you entertained?
I know that's why a lot of people are not liking She-Hulk. It's like, well, what's the point? I'm like, it's a fun sitcom. Let it be a fun sitcom. It doesn't need to be important. That being said, I think what's also true is that
Kyle's like, are you talking to me?
No, I'm just saying it's not a sitcom. Situational comedies are a specific genre, and it doesn't fit that mold.
It
Not
is
perfectly.
Fictional
It
drama.
never fits.
A wedding is a situation.
Yes, the
A
wedding would have
retreat
been
is a situation.
the wedding is a sitcom trope, absolutely, but the rest of it wasn't. They're not even trying to emulate.
It's a mixture, Kyle. It's a mixture, Kyle. The
traditional
last episode was a situational comedy. She ended up at a fucking retreat with a bunch of weirdos.
Court-based sitcoms, if they'd wanted to go that way, like Night Court or Ally
You say
McBeal,
Harvey
but
Birdman
it's
one
okay.
more fucking time.
Oh, that would have been a lot
I'm gonna fucking
better
I
than
want
what
it
they
to
got,
be.
and it would have been very fun, very funny if they
I
had
don't want it to be
court,
that.
court case of the week, but they didn't do any of that. Marvel Multiverse
What do you mean
Mayhem,
they did do?
everyone.
They've been doing
Yeah.
that. What are you talking about? They've been doing Case of the Week every week except for last week.
I like Kyle's complaint about that is fine. I just don't think they should have called it attorney at law. I think that's what leading Kyle to those expectations. They should have just kept it as she.
Why?
Because Kyle's main complaint is they don't do enough courtroom stuff. If you remove attorney at law, I think it negates Kyle's complaint about wanting Harvey Birdman because it's putting
I'm a
those
podcaster,
expectations
but I'm
out
also
there.
an attorney at law. That makes no sense.
Just trying to
Like,
help Kyle
that's a
out.
degree
That's
that- that's a
Kyle's big
degree that-
problem. It's like there's not enough court in this show.
I guess.
Kyle, we can't hear you, by the way, Kyle. Kyle, we can't hear you.
Are you talking to
Sorry.
yourself? What's going on?
I guess I was talking to myself. Don't Marvel Multiverse Mayhem. I'm not going to derail the
It's already
the show.
done.
You guys can go
Already
listen to Nick and I argue relentlessly about it. So,
But yeah, so I
Movie
mean, my
before
point,
this.
my point being is that people are complaining about the wrong things. They're saying like, "Oh, it didn't push the main overarching plot forward, so what's the point?" But by the same token, I think it is telling that whatever those internal standalone stories are, for the most part, haven't been strong enough for us to overlook that part. So it's like if they were strong enough by themselves, I don't think any of us would be
No one
complaining
would
as
care,
much about
yeah.
the quality of this phase. So it's like yes and no. I get it, but at the same time, She-Hulk is perfectly fine, Kyle. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was my point? What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Kevin Feige being spread too thin. I think it's been very clear that the quality control has been a little bit lacking lately. There's been
He needs number
things
two.
kind of slipping through the cracks. He needs number two, or they need to dial it back. I don't need this many Marvel shows or Marvel movies. Give me 2 shows and 2 movies a year. That's it. I don't need to go beyond that. Just have that. It's too many things. Let Kevin Feige shepherd it a little bit on a smaller scale. Don't overwhelm simply because you have to like, oh, we got to keep pushing things on a Disney Plus and sacrifice quality. Because I don't think there is somebody at this point who I could think of as being a sufficient number 2. Because they haven't risen to those ranks. I mean, we've had a lot of people who've been executive producing and producing alongside Kevin Feige, and this is still a problem. So I feel like if there was an evident number 2, I feel like we'd know about that person already. But
Yeah.
maybe it's just a restructuring. Who knows that is required.
What are you guys thinking for a replacement director? There's a part of me like assuming or hoping that the quality control issues on Batgirl aren't true. I want the directors from Batgirl.
Yeah,
Because
Bad Boys
again,
for
the
Life.
finished product that I saw from Bad Boys for Life was pretty good.
That's a
I'd
great
say
idea. I
hell
like
yeah.
that. Exactly, Joe. But
That's
I
it.
can't
We're
disagree.
all jumping on my idea.
Or
You
Jordan.
have no
No,
opinion
no,
on
that
it.
was a good idea. Yeah, you had a good idea. Good job.
Yeah, Jonesy has the
Be
best.
proud.
Now throw Jonesy a treat.
Jonesy gets a treat.
Fucking patronize me. I'm the host. So
What about, hold on. What about Stephen Caple Jr., who did Creed 2?
very competent.
Yeah. I think he'd be good.
And
think
I
could
know
be
he
good.
can shoot action scenes.
Yeah.
I need to go back and
Gentlemen,
watch Creed 2 because
it's
while
so
I know I like
good.
this, I know I like the story from the first one better. When I went back and watched the second one, some of those fight scenes are the things that really stuck out to me the most. Like it was visceral and impactful. And if you can do that in a Blade movie, see it. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
good.
because shooting boxing films or MMA films like that, shooting action well in that action well is actually very difficult, and he nailed it in Creed 2.
What are you
Because
talking
otherwise,
about? Halle Berry did it.
If you look at some of the other boxing films, even the old Rocky films, the actual look at Rocky 4, for example, when he's fighting Ivan Drago, there's clearly no contact made whatsoever, and although it's still a great fun film, but in Creed 2 they did that really well. So you're absolutely right. If they can shoot that action, then vampire action, sword fight action, I'll be down with that.
So I think Kyle came up with a good one, Chad Stahelski. So I think that gives you the gunplay that Blade is known for. Here's another question. Even before we get on to the director, is this going to be rated R? Because I feel like it needs to be.
Yes, because Deadpool is definitely going to be rated R. So this one I could see them referring more into rated R.
I don't know that I've seen an announcement one way or the other.
No, it hasn't been announced. I'm just saying, come on, it's going to be Deadpool's going to be rated R. Nothing has been announced.
So here's the thing. Making a rated R film, you already limit how much money you're going to make. And I think it's easier with Deadpool because it's a known quantity. It is probably in the top 5 in terms of.
But it wasn't known when the first one came out, though.
Sure. I think that was lightning striking. And then you've got the sequel. So people are excited to go see the sequel. 24 years on, or however long it's been since Ryan Reynolds fucked up the third Blade movie. I don't know that it has the same cachet that it used to.
I think there's improvement.
The R rating was the problem, or led to one of the problems that's led us to have this discussion now. How to fit it in the MCU, how to fit an R-rated film in. Do you think that may have been one of the challenges they've had? Why the action scenes have been lackluster, because they're trying to balance blood and guts with family-friendly action, for want of a better way of doing it, and that's why they seem to pre-shitty action scenes, because they weren't capturing what we needed. I don't know.
I will answer your question by reminding everyone of a scene from the very first Blade movie. I remember a guy getting his hand chopped off and then like spraying his own blood in his own face. From the very first Blade movie.
Like, I think it's not a coincidence that we're seeing Disney Plus up its R ratingness with like letting in those Netflix shows, implying that those Netflix shows are now canon. Obviously, we don't know for sure yet, but like implying aspects of those are canon for sure. Even if it's not the entire thing wholesale. I think they're towing into the R-rated waters, so to speak. And I think by the time we get to Blade, we're already going to be at least knee deep or waist deep into that. So I think it's going to happen.
Plus, Marvel Zombies will be rated M. Jammer.
Interesting.
Too. And then Dead by
and it's animated. That's crazy.
What the heck is that? Werewolf by Midnight. What is that rated? Do we know?
Yeah, that's an R-rated, and it's apparently awesome. What I've heard and read.
Is it R-rated?
I keep saying it's the most violent thing they've done, but I haven't seen a rating for it. And it comes out,
I believe,
on the 7th, I think.
Or Werewolf by Night, not Midnight. Look that up.
That's the sequel, Midnight.
Werewolf by Midnight. I like that.
Werewolf by
I don't see anything about
Werewolf by Dawn is the threequel.
I got nothing in terms of.
In Bed by Lunchtime is the last one.
Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see a rating. I don't see a rating. But yeah, I think you're right, Danny. If it's true that this is not going to be a rated R feature, that would be the thing that's neutering the fight scenes. 100%.
TV 14 is what it is. So
it's the same as like Loki and
Really?
She-Hulk.
Well,
yeah, they're all TV 14.
The trailer's pretty freaking scary, or whatever you want to call it.
In America, the difference between R and PG-13 is literally the amount of blood on the screen. Not like even like you can watch Jurassic Park and an arm can be ripped off as long as there isn't blood. You can watch 2 T-Rexes tear a guy in half.
You'll think this is interesting, I think, maybe. Jammer, to your point about Disney Plus dipping their toe into the more mature stuff. Here in Korea, the stuff from Hulu is on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So they just put all of that stuff like on here.
Prey,
so things like Prey. Yeah. Rated R features are on there.
There was also a rumor that, what is it, Paramount? Who owns 30% of Hulu? Was it Paramount? Whoever that 30% owner is. might
What's gonna sell?
be wanting to buy the rest out, or either that or they're trying to artificially put a bid out so they can inflate and get more money out of it. So that's also
That's what they're doing. There's no way Disney lets go.
But
Hulu
you know,
at
if they
this
do let go of it, like just bring it all to Disney Plus. I don't understand why they're hanging on to Hulu, to be honest. They don't
point. It
need
kind of
it.
keeps the 20th century identity to it.
Why?
And it's one of the bigger streamers, isn't it? I assume it has bigger numbers than Disney Plus.
But if you
I don't know.
fold all that stuff into it, what
I
does it
don't know.
matter?
Then it kills their whole package that they like to prompt. Or it's
Does it?
Yeah, but maybe
Hulu,
more people sign
ESPN,
up for Disney Plus.
Disney
Yeah.
Plus. Offer one rate.
I mean, who knows? But like, who knows what's going to happen? But it's a possibility that I see them slowly trending towards more R-rated stuff.
I hope so.
Fingers crossed. We'll see. Too long on this topic. You guys ready to move on?
Let's do it.
We've got a couple of other things that we could talk about. I don't know if that's necessary. The one that I wanted to bring up to you guys, only because it disappoints me a lot, is the fact that Star Trek has lost its release date. So it was slated to hit theaters in December of next year. December 22nd, that is now gone. So after they lost their director to fucking Marvel, we're not getting anything from Star Trek, which I'm really disappointed, because I was hoping that the fourth film would wrap up the story for this crew, and then we kind of move on. But now they're just out there like so many hanging chads. And I know you guys have talked about this before, because you've talked about the fact that Matt Jackman exited the film. But is there any hope for this film getting back on track?
I do. I think there is. I just think it was silly to give it a release date before they had a script. Whereas like a release date that is before
the actors signed on.
Mission Impossible 2, which not only has a script but is almost done filming, and they said it before Mission Impossible 8, even though they have way more Mission Impossible 8 ready.
I mean, I think it's crazy that, so going back in time, J.J. Abrams announced this movie before they even had the cast on board.
The cast was like, "What?
So
What's
Yeah.
happening?"
yeah, pretty much.
But they're all like paycheck. And I feel like they enjoy doing that movie too.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. Danny, what you got? Anything?
I think it's a shame, because I've been looking forward to some more Trek stuff. The last, not the shows and the big screen stuff is the same, but I've been really enjoying a lot of the new TV stuff. So it's made me excited for this new movie, and I've actually enjoyed the recent iterations of Star Trek. What do you call it? The Kelvin timeline, the non-Kelvin. Which one? Being ignorant here, I've enjoyed these films on a whole. So, but I think it will happen, just not as soon as we would like.
Okay.
But that's okay, because we've got Deadpool 2024, so I'm happy. So whatever.
Yeah. Danny's like, that's all the news I needed this week.
All I needed. Yeah, cheered me up no end. And on that note, I'm going to bid you and the dear listener adieu, farewell, bon voyage, because I have to go and talk to people I'd rather spend less time with.
I got one more thing to say to you specifically, Danny. So we were having a conversation on Discord about Andor. I figured out what it was I didn't like about it. It's the fact that the endings are abrupt, but that's because of the way they're doing the storytelling. So they've got arcs for the episodes that are 3 episodes long. So they're telling the story in 3 episode arcs. So when this 4th episode ended, it feels like somebody's like, all right, that's enough for you. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and that does make sense on rewatch. And I've actually been really enjoying Andor because of that way, but that does make sense. It is a bit abrupt, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
And
I noticed it less in the first 3 episodes because you got a complete arc. So those individual episodes ended strangely, but that 3rd episode, like it felt like a natural stopping point.
That's fair.
So,
how many episodes in this
after I watch it?
How many will it be? I thought 12, right?
Yeah.
12, yeah.
So you could be, Jones, you could have just created a new rule of 3.
Yeah. So maybe just stop watching.
Watch it in 3 episodes. Yeah, wait to binge watch 3 episodes at once. Yeah.
I think I am going to do that.
Anyway, guys, lovely to see you all again. Super enjoy it, but I do have to dish out. And dear listener, go on Discord. Tell us what you think. I'd love to hear your opinions on Deadpool, even if they're probably wrong, but go for
it. Bye, Danny.
Adios.
What else, if anything, do you guys want to talk about. Like I said, there are a couple other things. They're like, whatever.
I like
There are a
that.
couple
It's
things
not even on the
they're
list,
like,
but I like
whatever.
that
Hello,
Axel
and
Foley's
welcome.
filling out its cast. Like when Kevin
I don't know
Bacon
what
was
that
cast
means.
this week, I'm like, villain alert. It's Kevin Bacon. That's all I have to say about it. But I'm glad that movie is feeling more and more real.
The new
It's like
Beverly
we
Hills
talked
Cop
about for
jammer.
decades.
Okay,
Yeah,
what's
it's called
the one
Beverly
I
Hills
haven't
Cop
seen yet?
Axel Foley, because that's what you call movies now that are like soft reboots or delayed sequels. You put the characters.
No, I
name
think
in
if it was
Top Gun,
actually
Or
a soft
a
Maverick,
requel.
Rambo.
It should have been called Foley. That was what would have been called.
See, that would
Or
have driven me
Axel.
up the wall if it was just called Foley.
Foley.
Or Axel F, like the song.
Axel F.
That's what the song is called, the theme song.
I didn't know it was called.
Yeah, that's what's called. Are you guys watching House of the Dragon or Ring
No.
of Power?
Yes.
No. Yeah.
I was watching. I've only 3 episodes into Ring of the Power, and I'm waiting on House of the Dragon because time.
Oh, you're one of those
But-
people. Apparently, it's getting crushed in the Nielsen ratings. So, Ring of Power is
House of the
posted-
Dragon is getting crushed,
Yes,
so it's not
So-
doing well.
No, it's doing
Well,
well still for HBO.
it's doing
especially.
well,
like-
but it's getting crushed by the Ring of Power. So 1.3 billion minutes viewed of the Ring of Power compared to 781 million minutes of
Rings.
House
Yeah.
of the Dragon.
Thank you,
Rings.
Kyle.
Rings of Power.
there's 9 or something. No, there's more than that. But
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's good for Amazon, I guess.
that makes me
Well,
very happy because
they
there was
spent
that
enough money.
rumor that they were going to cancel everything if the show didn't do well. And I was like, the show better do well, even if I don't like it, just so I get more boys and Invincible and stuff like that. But
I mean, let's be real though. Boys and Invincible, if they got canceled at Amazon, someone else would pick up those 2.
it's true.
Likely.
If Amazon
Yeah.
would let go of the rights.
That's true. I'm not sure I'm not sure if they have the
I mean-
rights to those, or if they just have the streaming rights or whatever to
Hmm.
those seasons.
Yeah. I mean, I figured if they canceled everything, that would be a money thing, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so if somebody was willing to pay for that, then yeah.
Like when New Line risked everything on Lord of the Rings and they struck it huge, and then they risked everything on Golden Compass,
and then they
went
shut down.
Yeah. We're gonna do
Let's
it again.
again.
Double or nothing. Oh, nothing. What?
Yeah. Speaking of which, did that show come back?
His Dark Materials, it's coming back.
Yeah. Is
It's
it?
coming back. I actually
couldn't-
just saw
I never didn't like the first season.
THR First Look. Oh, you didn't?
Should I keep going?
Sure. I don't know. I don't
remember
remember.
what else is on
Rousing
the list.
endorsement. Rousing endorsement.
I like
Anyway.
the first season and the second season. So
Oh, you're asking if I should keep watching it. I like, should we keep going with
Yeah.
stories? And I was like, I don't remember what else is on the list. But
Oh yeah, no. There's nothing else on the
Oh
list.
no,
It's-
no, we're
it's
talking
fine.
about
Yeah.
his Dark Materials. But yeah, season 3 is
Yeah.
coming, and they got angels and shit.
We'll see.
2
Maybe I'll
favorite
watch it.
things.
I'm really
No,
enjoying
not-
Andor,
not two
despite the fact
things.
that I don't like the way the episodes end. I love the lore that they're creating.
I was gonna say that too, but then I remembered just now I didn't even finish the last episode. Like I had to do
Jesus
something, and
Christ.
when I got home, I didn't turn it back on.
I have one issue, and somebody needs to correct me. Somebody needs to tell me I'm wrong about this. The Empire is based on what?
Not
Nazis.
Nazis. Is it weird
Nazis.
then that in this production of Star Wars, specifically, like more so than I can ever think of, they are diversifying the Empire?
I
How are they
thought that a
diversifying
little
it?
bit. Like
They
you
have
should
a
diversify.
fascist organization.
You
Yeah.
No,
should
no, but who-
diversify Star Wars, but yeah, suddenly you have like black commanders and stuff in the Empire.
But
and it's
here-
like, they didn't even let
so
other
is it
aliens
just-
in.
Is it other aliens or is it just other races?
They've
Other
been
human
racist
races?
in
Other-
the past, the Empire, because they're based on Nazis.
In the
It is-
well, actually, Nick, the Empire,
Well,
the
actually.
Empire was.
You gotta have
Yeah,
your
I
camera
just
on
did
if you
the
can do it
actually.
well, actually, so you can put your glasses up.
Yeah, you really want me to? So hold on, I'm not wearing my glasses, but actually, Nick, the Empire actually gets a lot of its inspirations from the United States' behavior in Vietnam and really informed Lucas at the time. Yes, imagery and historical things draw from Nazis.
Stormtroopers.
The Empire itself was seen to be, in the movies, of course, in the OT, of course, very white. All the extras came from England.
Yep.
England is very white now, even more white back then. Not excuses or anything, just context. The EU created the idea that the Empire was racist against aliens. They don't really, a lot of characters don't even get like skin color descriptions in a lot of EU books, and you don't get a lot of built up Imperials anyways. But there never was like that I can recall something against dark-skinned humans versus non-dark-skinned humans, but alien races and women 100%. And they've kept the limit of alien races, shown the Empire to still be racist against, non-humans. But they've softened up on the female aspect quite a bit.
Absolutely.
And then to Jonesy's point, there is definitely, even compared to some of the movies, definitely seems to be a lot more diversity for this Empire. I don't know what's going on, if it's just we're more aware or we're finally seeing more Imperials for the first time in a while, but did I answer any questions?
Yeah, and I think
I
it's
just
a
think
point
it's
you
funny.
made about that's why the Empire are all British. The bad guys are British in the original trilogies. Yeah, there's extras from Pinewood Studios out in London.
So yeah, that's it. I just thought it was funny. But yeah, other than that, I'm really enjoying the show. Like I said, the lore is fantastic. I love the idea of giving meaning to the idea of a rebel alliance, because in the original trilogy, those are just words. But in here, when Luthen is having the conversation with Cassian, and he's just like, hey, you're all basically the same, and they name all the organizations that presumably will eventually make up the Rebel Alliance. So stuff like that. I think it's cool. Money. Where do you get all this money from? Get a very Falcon and Winter Soldier look into the lives of the Empire and Rebel Alliance. It's fun.
I dig it.
No,
I haven't seen it yet. I'm excited to get into
What?
it. Yeah. Well, when it started, I was out at the convention and I didn't have any time.
Right.
And then when I got back, I was playing catch up from being out at the convention. So I really haven't had a lot of time, apart from that one evening where I hung out with Nick, and then we watched a bunch of other random shit instead of Andor. So there you go.
Okay. All right. You ready to shut it down then?
Yeah.
Shut her down.
Oh, I have to add one
Okay.
thing. I want to apologize to the listener. I accidentally ripped the name off of a Star Trek episode without realizing it. I named Who Watches the Watchers. I did not know there was a Star Trek episode named that. Because I sent you guys the picture from that.
Mhm.
There's a Next Gen episode named that. Obviously, I was ripping off Watchmen with a play on it. But
What was? We
There you
were right
go.
where they were.
But you know that line is a Latin
yeah, that's what.
quote, right?
In fact, they say that in the Watchmen. That's the closest translation to Who Watches the Watchmen, because they say that also in the TV series. They just
Yeah.
say it, but then I learned online that it's
But they
Latin
say it
for
in the
Who
comic
Watches
book
the
as well.
Watchmen.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a while since.
So you didn't rip it off from Star Trek. It's
I
it's just
saw that
a
and I was
phrase.
more like a.
okay.
I understand that reference. It's us. No, I'm kidding. It's all
So, dear listener, thanks for listening. You got Nick's apology, so take it to heart. He really means it. Also, do all the socials, like, rate, comment, subscribe, share. We would definitely appreciate it. Also, LRM Online has other great stuff for you to listen to. Where else but on the Genre Podcast Network, as well as the website lrmonline.com.
Genre-verse.
Genre-verse.
What did I say?
You're like me.
Genre.
Just genre.
I do that
God damn
too
it,
often.
Genreverse.
I'm
gonna write a sticky note. You know what needs to happen? You just need to change the name of the website, and we'll never have to do that again. Please get on that.
Hopefully
Kyle's
soon.
pained laugh.
One day. But yeah, Genreverse Podcast Network. Yeah. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next one. Hasta lasagna.
Don't get any on you.
It was gone. No, you get 1 second. No, I wait first. I give you that whole second. I hear don't get any Anya 1001.